All right, well, Derek had to step out. He had to get a psychic evaluation. But let's go. Let's get you guys' thoughts about the Cardinals and the Saints game. First question is: the Cardinals did have some key injuries that happened in that game. How big were those injuries? Would they still got blown out the way they did? How did that have a big impact on it?
I think it had an impact. I mean, Antro Rowe got hurt. Rogers Cromartie got injured as well, and
that was all on the first drive, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I know it was early in the game.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much set the tone for the game. New Orleans, they was all healthy. They had all their weapons going, and Cardinals needed all the help they could get, and they just didn't have it, especially with those injuries.
Yeah, I think the other thing, well, of course, with Kurt Warner getting taken out earlier. We kind of hinted on that. A lot of people talked about that. If he gets hurt, look who you have to fall back on. Matt Leinart, and we already saw, even though it was against Vince Young, we already saw, how that worked out. So it was just a bad sign from the jump.
All right. The other thing that I wanted to ask about, there was a Reggie Bush sighting in this game. All season long, when he got drafted, we was talking about he's going to be this big weapon. And, the Saints still use him sparingly, but, he had one of his best games I've ever seen him have in that game. Is that something you can count on from Bush from here on out in the playoffs?
Yeah, maybe so. I think he's a playoff run because there's a chance that his contract might get terminated, where he might get let go. So he's trying to make a point and prove that he's worth keeping. And he seemed like he was real focused even before the game. They mentioned how focused he was. So he wants to prove a point this postseason.
All right. So the other difference with the Saints, did they get the switch on, or was it getting all those guys back on defense and everywhere else? Was just a matter of them being healthy? Was that turned around? This team was struggling going into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. It kind of funny that all the three teams struggling. The Vikings,
season,
the Vikings, Saints. Who was the other? Indianapolis. Well, Indianapolis can't say they were struggling. They just quit. Mm-hmm. But those teams were struggling. They all won by pretty much real convincingly fashion. And the team that was hot was the one that lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think with those teams, they had time to the extra week. Guys had time to get healthy and rest up, and then it gave the coaches time to game plan and to coach their guys up and get them motivated, get them ready to play. The other thing is the Saints got what's his name, Deuce McAllister.
That's the captain.
Yeah, for that game.
Give it emotional impact.
Yeah. So I think that really helped out with the emotions for the game.
All right, and the next big question is, will Kurt Warner retire? Or not? Will he? But should he? You think he should retire?
I hope he do.
You hope he do like that?
So we can take over the damn division.
All right. Of course, he's not the player he used to be, but he's still an effective quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
But the question is, he really doesn't have anything to prove. So will he come back another year?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he'd be foolish not to come back, given the weapons that he has. I think give Vinny Wells another year of experience, Hightower another year of experience, and then get Anquan Bolden back, and maybe they can get some more help. And the defense has been, I think, it's developing into something.
Yeah, they still got a young team. The team is not really that old. Actually, Warner's the only one on the team that's really old. So
they got a bright future. I see them doing a lot of great things next year if he stays around.
And Wisenhunt's transformation of them into a Steelers-like team. Yeah, I think like 1 or 2 more years and they could be that team. Like their main issue is just consistency. Like I've been saying, the whole season when they have good games, it's like they kill it. But when they have bad games, it stinks up the joint. So this past game was an example of that.
All right, next game going on to the AFC, Ravens at Colts. This was the way the Ravens ran the football last week. Everybody thought they might have a good chance in this game, and everybody said that's the Colts' weakness, stopping the run. But the Ravens actually weren't able to run the football much in this game. They only had 89 yards rushing. Were you guys impressed with Indianapolis defense, or what was it? What was the key in this game?
Yeah, I mean, you had to be impressed, but at the same time, I wasn't that surprised. I mean, Baltimore, they pretty much one-dimensional. They didn't really have any passing game. He got hurt. I mean, he helped a little bit. He wasn't the same old self. And the thing that hurt New England last week against Baltimore was that they weren't able to pass on him. And they got off to that bad start because you had Randy Moss was hurt. He wasn't 100%. Wes Walker already got hurt, and Ben Watson, he plays like a sissy when it comes crunch time. So, I mean, Indianapolis had more weapons to throw at Baltimore to defend, and ended up working out.
Yeah, I agree with that. The other thing too is the Colts. They weren't scared. Baltimore is going to bring it every game. At least the defense is going to bring it every game. And they still did their thing. The other thing with the Colts defense, Mason was dogging them in the beginning. He was getting a lot of catches, but the Saints' young secondary, they settled down going into the game.
Colts.
The Colts. Thank you. The Colts' young secondary settled down, and further into the game, they settled down and were able to limit the Ravens' offense. So.
Yeah, the score was 20-3, but I think that's what the game was closer than the score showed. And who knows if Pierre Garçon does a script air read on that fumble,
yeah.
and an interception. That was his biggest play of the game, maybe the biggest play of the playoffs. That really turned that whole game around. And not everything impressed me about the Colts, but I didn't really think Peyton Manning played that well of a game as he's capable. He threw 2 interceptions. Mm-hmm. Of course he got one back, and but they still won pretty convincingly. The other thing is when people now get off Caldwell about bitching, his players the last 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Will they finally leave him alone about that?
No, I don't think so. Not yet. I think they have to at least get to the Super Bowl before they, get off his back. It's like I think one playoff win ain't enough.
All right. Well, we just previewed the games from Saturday. We're gonna go take a quick break. We come back. We're gonna talk about Sunday's games.